Hello, and welcome to the Artificial Podcast with your host, Nick Myers.
Artificial
intelligence,
voice recognition,
machine learning,
robotics,
actionable analytics.
It is Nick's goal to help everyone understand the impact that emerging technologies are having on our lives both personally and within our organizations. Your glimpse into the growing world of emerging technology starts now.
Nick Myers.
Nick Myers. Nick Myers.
Nick Myers.
So, Brett, what do you think this week's episode is going to be about?
I don't know.
Well,
What is it about?
let me tell you in a very mysterious movie trailer sort of way.
Can you give me some riddles and I can try and guess?
What did I just tell you? I'm going to tell you
Mysterious movie
in a
voice.
mysterious movie trailer way.
Maybe you should just start with that.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do it now. Are
Okay.
you ready? I'm going to
Yeah,
reveal this week's episode.
Do it!
In a world where conspiracy theories run amok, in a world where truth and fact and reality no longer matters, in a world where many people tend to think that radio waves emitted from cell towers cause cancer and coronavirus, two young boys got together to say, nay, conspiracy theories. It's time for Fact vs. Fiction of 5G. In theaters now.
I like it.
So that's what we're talking about.
I'm talking about 5G.
I did that totally ad-lib, by the way. No rehearsal.
Yep.
Did you like that, Brett?
I did like that.
Do you think the listeners like that, Brett?
I don't know. I'm not the listener.
God! Anyhow, welcome back to another week and another episode of the Artificial Podcast. My name is Nick Myers. For those of you returning to our lovely show, thank you. And for those of you who are brand new, welcome. Welcome to the Artificial Podcast.
Welcome to our podcast. Find it.
And of course-
I'll have some popcorn.
And of course, I'd like to welcome back our producer and all-around exceptional CTO, best friend.
Exceptional.
I don't know what else to call you. Mr. Brett Brooks.
Awesome.
Welcome back yet again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody's probably wondering why I'm having you on the show so much. Well,
You
stop
suck at
wondering.
getting guests.
Like to call it as you see it, don't you?
Yep.
Hey, no, we got a good guest interview coming up, though. So,
Oh, that's good.
we're going to be doing our very first book giveaway.
Oh, sick. And I've told you this many times too that we can have repeat guests.
We can, and I think I'm actually going to bring my friend Ming back on the show. Ming actually did... when did Ming do the show with me? Ming did an episode with me very early on in the Artificial
She was like
Podcast.
fourth or fifth, wasn't she?
I think she was like the second or third.
By the way, can you believe we're on episode 80?
Yes, we
That's
are. We are on
a feat.
episode 80.
That's a feat.
Testament to our desire to learn about technology, eh? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Or yeah.
Anyhow, no, I do plan to have Ming back on the show because Ming and I are like Brett in how we can talk with one another, and we'll just go off the rails on so many different things. I think actually what I'm going to be talking with Ming about is this whole addicted to outrage thing that I've been working on.
Oh yeah. What is it? What is can you give us a little rundown of what Addicted to Outrage is?
Well, after you had me play that game on Steam,
Oh,
I
yes.
realized, wow, this game calls it as it sees it, which is we're addicted to outrage.
Yeah.
No matter where we go, due to the media and due to social media, everybody's just addicted to outrage and addicted to finding and being outraged, or finding scenarios of outrage. So I want to dive into that. I think not a lot of people are talking about that, and Ming and I talk about that quite a bit. So I'm like, Ming, we could do a really good podcast episode on addiction to outrage and what social media and technology has... Okay, she doesn't like me saying that social media and technology have caused our addiction to outrage because she views these pieces of tech as tools, whereas I'm like, well...
I mean, that's what tools have always been since we've been cavemen. I mean, like, the hammer and stuff helps us build stuff, but you can also beat someone over the head with it.
Yeah,
So-
but there's a difference between
Now,
a hammer
I guess
and
what you can
something
say-
like Facebook that
Yeah.
makes money off of creating hate.
I can't send a hammer it through space to China and hit someone over the head. But with
Correct.
Facebook, I can. Well, not China.
Right. Figuratively speaking.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, yeah, we're going to be doing an episode with Ming coming up. I'm really excited to chat with her again. And Ming, she's just very colorful and doesn't, she says what's on her mind, which is
She's very
something
blunt
I
and
always
honest.
appreciate.
I like
Very
it.
blunt, even more than Brett.
And she's from Australia.
Yeah,
So
she's from
she's
Australia.
extra blunt and extra honest.
But this week, as you heard a bit ago, we are going to be talking about 5G, fact versus fiction, because, quite frankly, I'm tired of seeing all the conspiracy theories with 5G. And 5G is something we haven't really talked about on the show, and it is an emerging technology, so it fits perfectly.
I mean, in a way, where do these conspiracy theories stem from? Or do you at first want to talk about what is 5G?
Well, we know they stem from the internet. I think that's a given. But we probably should tell everybody a bit about what 5G is, how it works.
Well, I mean, there's got to be like a small, minuscule bad thing about 5G, right, for the environment?
Not really, no.
Does it screw up how the bees pollinate?
No.
Or is that a conspiracy theory?
That's a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
There is literally...
Did you look this up?
There is literally nothing different between 5G and our current 4G cellular networks except the amount of information that you can send over 5G is quadrupled.
Well, what is 5G?
Oh, great question.
What if one of our listeners...
Great question, Brett.
What if one of our listeners that's listening via technology to our podcast doesn't own a phone?
Listening via technology. Okay.
Doesn't own a phone.
Right. How about we just do what we always do, and I'm, Brett, you're the artificial podcast resident layperson. Why don't you think, I can't even talk. Why don't you tell us about what you think 5G is?
It's just better phone service. I don't know. It's just, you had 4G.
Put some oomph behind it. What do you think 5G is?
Okay, yeah, I got my Samsung Galaxy S3, right?
But you don't. You want an iPhone.
As my first phone was Samsung Galaxy S3, right?
Oh, okay.
I had 3G on it. I wanted Wi-Fi more than the 3G because the 3G sucked. Then they came out with 4G with my iPhone 7. Then 4G LTE. And now they have 5G. And you know what? 5G seems to be faster than, the internet that I pay for with Charter. So.
All right.
I don't know what it is. I just know that it has a little symbol on my phone in the upper right and it goes faster.
Honestly, that's a great way to think about it, being the resident layperson of the artificial podcast.
Invisible tech I can't see goes faster. Must be better. And thumbs up. Cool.
Good, Brett. That's actually, you're onto something with that. But I think it's probably due for a more thorough explanation before we dive into why these conspiracy theories have arisen and how we can hopefully spread some facts to try and stop them.
One more thing I'll add is I know that's the 5th generation, which is what the G stands for.
Wow, you actually got into something before I even said it, you smart little duck, you.
That's enough of that. But continue.
Well, you're right that, in a nutshell, 5G is the next generation of wireless networks, and that's what the G stands for. And truth be told, until I did research for this episode on 5G, I did not know that's what the G stood for in our different cellular networks. I thought it meant like gigabits, gigabands, gigawaves, giga guacamole, giga Monday afternoon, giga Bowser. All right, we're enough of that. But you get my point.
Sure.
And it stands for generation. So, like we had 3G was 3rd generation cellular network. 4G was 4th generation cellular network.
Well, then they throw LTE in the mix? Like, what is that?
Long-term evolution is what that means.
That means they couldn't cross the bridge to 5, but it was like 4.5.
Sure, you can think of it
like halfway from 4 to 5. That's what LTE was.
Sure. And now we're on to 5G, so 5th generation cellular networks. And what are some of the key differences of 5G, you may ask, Brett? I know you didn't ask it, but I know you were thinking it. 5G connections bring much lower latency, more bandwidth, faster cellular data speeds, of course, and more intelligent power management.
Incredible.
So there's a lot to 5G that makes it far different than our current 4G LTE networks. And, fun fact, Brett, Juniper Research estimates that by 2025, there will be 1.45 billion, yes, billion with a B, active 5G connections worldwide.
Holy crap. So you're
So-
saying 1/7 of the planet will have 5G?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, let's be
Not a
real.
lot.
Let's be real. It's probably going to be in more developed countries with
Yeah, no,
a,
yeah, of course.
a very high quality
But
cellular infrastructure. But
you know the world will have that we won't need 5G? Starlink.
shut up. We talked about that last week.
Yeah, that's why it's it's a connection,
Right, but as good as Starlink will probably end up being, it still won't come close to 5G.
I don't know. I don't really see a 5G tower out in the Sahara Desert.
Okay, if you're in an environment where you have access to a 5G cellular network, it will be better than Starlink will ever come close to.
Well, how can it be better than Starlink when Starlink can reach into the Sahara Desert?
Because when you're closer to a cell tower, you have lower latency and it can transfer data much faster. Starlink still has to beam up to a satellite and
No,
back.
I'm saying Starlink can cover the whole planet, so it's better than 5G that can't cover the whole planet. There's holes. It's like Swiss cheese.
Yes, if Elon Musk's crazy Starlink plan works out, there will be global internet, but even so, 5G will still be faster.
Okay, I'm saying more coverage is better than faster.
Oh, so that's the argument you're making. You didn't hint at that at all, which is why I've been getting hot under the collar.
What's worse? I don't have anything compared to I do have internet.
I think in the
Do
developed
you think
world,
do you think a person would rather have internet or faster internet?
I think in the developed world, in first world countries, the speed matters more than access.
Hey, I'm not speaking for people.
Well, I'm talking about people who've already had quality access to broadband and 4G LTE networks. So yes, faster makes sense versus just having more access, because most
Correct.
people don't think about having more access because most people don't travel and wind up in places where they don't have internet access.
Correct.
Believe it or not there, Brett.
Correct. You got anything else to add to that?
No.
Okay.
I just felt like giving you a bit of a smacky smack with what you
Why?
were trying to argue there.
I was arguing that the whole world having internet is better than some people having faster.
I'm arguing that faster is better than the whole world having internet.
That's stupid.
Well,
That's
you
like
can.
that's like running over people, all the people on the train tracks besides run over the one person. You chose all the people to run over. That's what you just did. You suck.
Whatever. Fine, I suck. But even so, I think once we all get access to a developed and high quality 5G network that actually can do what the cell companies are claiming it can do down the road, I think your tune may be a bit different. Because if they're able to roll out 5G in the way that they claim they're going to be able to, and it can transfer data at the speeds at which they claim it can be able to,
Okay.
you may not need home broadband anymore.
I understand what you're saying, but let's just here hypothetically, let me run this down through your brain and see what you say. A genie comes down.
Oh, a genie.
I give you a choice. Would you like the whole world to have internet, or would you like
God,
to
we're
have
still on
first
this.
world, or would you like to have first world countries have faster internet? What would you choose?
You know what, Brett? I'll play with your stupid little scenario here. The whole world, of course, genie, because that makes everybody happy. And we live in a globalist society, so everybody having access is better than
Oh,
a couple
that means-
having speed.
That means Starlink's better.
I don't care anymore. I don't. I really don't. Have your stupid point. I don't care.
Whatever. Let's move on.
Anyhow, how does 5G work? Any thoughts there, Brett?
Dude, I don't know. Something about cell towers and it goes through the air and it goes to my phone. And then I use it.
On the right track? Almost there, but not quite.
Almost there. Yeah, okay.
So like other cellular networks, 5G uses a network of cell sites or cell towers that divide their territory into sectors and send encoded data through radio waves. So it still functions pretty much exactly like our current cellular networks where we have
Okay.
cell towers that send radio waves.
I've never known how that works, or I don't know how like Bluetooth works. Like you're telling me my music goes from my phone through the air for whatever, however, I don't know how it does it, to my radio.
Radio waves.
Sure, radio waves. Don't even know how those work either. There's some kind of, are they waving at me?
My God.
I don't know. Oh yeah, you tell me how radio waves work.
Well, I'm not an expert in radio wave lore.
So you're gonna sit there and go, "Oh my God," to me, like you know everything.
I just know radio waves carry information,
This is
okay?
freaking wizard crap. This is wizard shit.
I've always said that. I've always said it's magic. We've created magic with cell phones because you can stream music from the air. I've always said
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
multiple other things.
I can wrap my head around a cord and plug a cord in. Something travels through a cord, but when you start throwing stuff into the air and
Right.
it finds its way to my radio, then you're losing me.
But what most people probably don't know, and I learned this doing this research too, is that most cellular networks, actually I think almost all cellular networks, are still connected to the internet via a backbone. So they're still hardlined into the global internet infrastructure.
Okay.
So I thought those cell towers communicated with satellites, and some do, but most have an internet backbone that they
Oh,
route
makes
all of
sense.
the data and traffic through.
That makes sense then. Yeah.
So, anyhow, back on topic. Today, 5G can operate on 3 different bands of radio frequencies, and these bands are low band, mid band, and high band. What are the difference between the 3? Are you curious, Brett?
Sure.
No, you're not. You don't care.
What
You
are
don't
the-
care at
I
all.
was just thinking of some stupid joke, and I'm like, I'm not going to ruin the podcast by saying this.
You don't care.
I wanted you to go low band. I don't even remember the 3 because I was thinking about my stupid joke.
What was your stupid joke? Now you have to say it.
There are 3 bands: low band, high band, and Ray band.
Oh my God, you're done.
Dude,
Get
I'm
off.
so
Get off my
ruining this
podcast. Get off my podcast.
I'm
You're done.
ruining the podcast.
You're
You're
done.
never going to invite me back on.
Stupid.
I told you it was a
stupid
stupid joke. I told you it was a stupid joke, and you still made me say it.
I will say though, stupid joke, but rather clever.
It was clever. That's true.
Rather clever. Anyhow, low band 5G operates in frequencies below 2 gigahertz, which are the oldest cellular and TV frequencies. Mid-band 5G operates in the 2 to 10 gigahertz range, and these networks have about a half a mile range from their cell tower, and internationally, countries have offered around 100 megahertz to each of their carriers for mid-band 5G. And I think 5G that will be most commonly used, from what I researched, will be in that mid-band range. So you're going to have to be within half a mile of a cell tower to get quality 5G service. And then, of course, you have the coup de grace. You have high band or millimeter wave 5G, and this is the newest form of 5G technology. And this is mostly airwaves in the 20 to 100 gigahertz range.
Wow.
And they've not actually been used for consumer applications before, only commercial applications. And it's been very hard to implement this type of 5G, the high band millimeter 5G, because these radio waves tend to drop off faster with distance.
Oh.
And the large amount of data they transfer are going to require more connections to landline internet.
How people figure this out, I'll never know.
People who are a lot smarter than me and have dedicated their life's work to cellular networks and cellular infrastructure. Now, of course, most of the cell phone carriers in the US and even the world today claim that 5G is available, and in a way it is, but most of the 5G networks are in the low or mid band. So the true 5G that we're working towards is that high band, because it can transfer 20 gigabits per second.
Okay.
Theoretically.
20
Is-
gigabytes per second it can transfer.
20 gigabits per second. So remember,
Gigabits.
gigabits.
Isn't it the
Yes.
same as gigabytes?
No.
Byte and bit?
Remember, there's a difference between megabits and megabytes and gigabits and gigabytes. It's just a different way of how you look at the data that's transferred.
Bits,
It's-
bytes.
It's
Bits,
mostly used in if you look at what broadband internet service providers do, like they never use megabyte because it looks smaller than megabit. So, for example, you and I both have 400 megabit per second download speed, which is roughly 20 to 30 megabytes per second.
Whatever.
I just thought you'd be curious to know that because it's more of a marketing thing.
MB or GB, and whichever one's bigger, it's good for me.
Just all you need to know is that 20 gigabits per second coming through a cellular network is really freaking fast. That's all you need to know.
Sounds good.
But again, most of it all is marketing puffery right now because most of the 5G that AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile all claim to have, it is 5G, but it isn't high-band 5G, which is what makes the real difference in the whole scope of 5G technology.
Cool.
And they're rolling it out to more cities. So I shouldn't say that. Only in select cities do these companies actually have high-band 5G. So Verizon has a slow nationwide 5G that they base on shared 4G channels, but they do have a fast high-band 5G in more than 60 cities. And the reason it needs to be in a metropolitan area is because the cell towers or the cell boxes need to be so close together because of...
I thought it was to control more people.
Oh my god.
By the way, did you get your chip yet in your vaccine to link up to 5G?
Yep.
That's like the running joke right now.
Yep. Yes, I did.
Cool, me too.
T-Mobile offers mid-band 5G covering 106 million people, and AT&T has mostly slow band across most of the U.S. except high band in 35 cities. So they do have high band 5G, but it's still very early, very new, and it's typically found in only larger cities because of how the cell towers and cell boxes need to be placed in order to make it happen. So that's how 5G works. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yep.
What are you reading? What are you looking up?
I'm not reading anything. I'm reading what's next on the notes. Fact versus fiction.
I don't believe you.
What do you mean you don't believe me?
What do you think 5G means for emerging technology?
For emerging technology?
Yes.
Well, we'll probably be able to get better technology because stuff will be able to run faster with the 20 gigabits or gigabytes, whatever it is. So we'll have better stuff like gigabit, you said?
Gigabit per second. Gigabit.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll have better technology in the future because we'll be able to have faster internet out and about. And we want to be hooked up to it. So we'll probably see more stuff like AR goggles. That'd be pretty cool. That link up to
yes.
Like the Oculus, not the Oculus, but the what's that thing on Ready Player One? What's it called? The place they all go.
The Oasis. Unfortunately, I don't think that'll ever become a reality.
Nope.
But...
all we need is 20 gigabits, and we can do it. How many gigabits do you think it would take for us to have the Oasis?
I don't even want to speculate because it's an amount of data and computing power that is hitherto anything we currently have.
You're talking about something fictional. It's not speculation anymore. It's just having fun. I'm going with a million.
I don't know. A million. There we go. We'll go with that. Well, some of your thoughts on how 5G will be impacting and already is different areas of emerging tech are accurate.
Well, you can also think of like when we get iPads and stuff and our toasters and our fridges, they'll probably have 5G on them and crap. I guess Wi-Fi would work for that too, though.
Well, they'll probably have some type of 5G receiver too, depending on what.
Maybe vending machines.
Probably
more futuristic in the future, and they can have 5G linked up to them.
Well, actually, it's interesting you bring that up. So I was talking with my aunt yesterday, and they just got all brand new appliances for the new kitchen that they built in their house, and she said all of the appliances are Wi-Fi enabled and they can be controlled via an app.
Cool.
Which I knew this, but it was interesting hearing her explain it to me. Like, they could be away from the home and turn on the stove or the dishwasher or the microwave.
Or the classic, I turn off the stove.
Or yes, you can do that.
And see if it's on. Say you go all the way to Hawaii and you're like, oh no, I forgot to turn off my stove. What would you do 20 years ago? You'd cry or call your neighbor and be like, Mary, I left my stove on. Please check on my house to make sure it didn't blow up, right? My dog's in there, my little Toto. Now, you can turn on the app. You can turn on the app and turn it off, right? Future.
Yes. Yep.
I
You can do
give
that.
you 2021.
You can get analytics now with your appliances, from what she told me, and of course it learns over time, providing you with a bunch of extra stuff. I don't know. I've known about the internet connected appliances for a while, but to actually now have a family member who has them and kind of learn more about them is pretty interesting. So, but I think out of most of the new emerging technologies, 5G is going to have by far the greatest impact as it rolls out over the next 5-10 years.
Until we have 6G.
That's not coming for a long, long time yet. Look how long it took them to get to 5G. I mean, if you think about it, we've only had 4G LTE networks since late
that was like
2000s.
4G LTE was like, I probably graduated 2011, 2012.
Yeah, late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah.
So it's taken about a decade to get to the point they are now with 5G.
Yeah.
But right now, we do live in a world of Internet of Things, so devices that are all connected to the internet. But with 5G, that's just going to grow exponentially as everything now is able to communicate incredibly efficiently with other devices, which I think will be a game changer. And I was also reading, right now how smartphones still have some type of local storage, right? So like internal storage. Well, again, if 5G ends up being able to accommodate a 20 gigabits per second transfer rate with an incredibly low, less than 1 millisecond latency,
Yeah.
there is some speculation that onboard smartphone storage may become obsolete, because if you could store everything in the cloud or a private cloud server and access it on demand, what's the point of having onboard storage?
There's no point.
Exactly. So
Save money.
Future smartphones may not have onboard storage, which I
You know how
think
much
is pretty
money
interesting.
how much money these phone companies are going to make if they can take away that from the hardware? Take that off the hardware?
I don't even know if it'll be the cell phone companies or the cell phone carriers that do that. I'm thinking you're going to look at Apple and Microsoft and Google making way more money with their cloud services, and Amazon.
No,
because,
I don't. No, I wasn't talking about the cloud service. I was talking about the phone companies just not even putting it into the hardware.
Oh yeah, Apple's going to save so much money not
Yeah.
having to do that, and any of the Samsung and HTC and LG and all the other smartphone manufacturers are going to save a ton of money.
I'm sure all that extra money will trickle down to the employees.
Oh, I'm sure. And I also think AR-powered devices will become more mainstream, like this new Apple AR headset that is speculated to come out this year. Because think about it, if you're going to be wearing an AR device constantly, it's going to need a lot of data in order to function. And it's going to need to be able to send and receive a lot of data. So if you have 5G, snap your fingers, boom, done. And if we ever want a world where all cars are self-driving and need to communicate with one another, we're going to need 5G for the ultra-low latency and data transfer speeds, because a car is going to need to be instantaneously reporting data to and from a server so, it doesn't crash.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Tesla self-driving cars are pretty good right now without having that capability, but just think when all of the self-driving cars are connected to a central network and are able to talk with one another and learn from one another, and you're going to need 5G to do that.
That's me crazy.
It probably won't happen in our lifetimes, but it will happen.
Yeah. It sucks. Seems like we're coming up to a pretty cool future that we're going to miss.
Wow, way to take the podcast for a turn.
But instead we get this.
Thanks for making everybody sad, Brett. Thanks. On a roll, getting all pumped about what 5G is going to bring to the table. It's going to be really sad that we can't experience this.
I'm talking like 150 years from now.
Okay, Eeyore.
Well, 150 years from now, maybe it could be. Well, I guess it could be a burning pile of ash. The Earth could be. Who knows?
Just stop talking. You're done.
It seems pretty cool. But you know what else seems cool?
That's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say.
50s and 70s seem pretty cool too.
That's all you gotta say. Let's not go down the whole Earth being burnt and death and dismemberment. No, we're not doing that. It's not what this show's about.
I didn't say dismemberment. I just said burning pile of ash. Okay.
Anyhow, now that we've gotten through the what, the how, and I guess the what again with what 5G means for emerging tech, let's get into what Brett has been looking forward to most here, and I'm sure all of you have who are listening and or watching. 5G conspiracy theories.
Yeah. That's probably why most people click on this video.
Dun dun dun.
Wow.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Did you like that?
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Did you like that? Well, as we well know, in this age of post-truth and misinformation, there have been a lot of conspiracy theories circulating around the internet on 5G. And our goal, with the time left we have in this episode, is to highlight some of those major conspiracy theories and disprove them completely.
Can I say my favorite one?
Sure, Brett. You
My
take
favorite-
it away.
My favorite was how they have to set up the 5G towers, and to do that, to set them up, and not have people go loopy and crazy from the waves. They did the coronavirus to keep us all inside for a couple weeks.
Wait, explain that one again. What?
So they have to put up the 5G towers, right?
Yeah.
But when they're put them up, if people were buying them, it would kill people, and then they couldn't get away with their devious plan to put up 5G towers because people would realize that people are dying from these towers. So to keep people away from the towers, they kept them inside their houses for 2 weeks by saying there's the coronavirus.
So the conspiracy theory is the coronavirus was created by the hidden world order cabal.
Yeah, whatever.
To keep people inside so they could put up their mind-controlling 5G towers.
Yes. And the vaccine has the chip in it to control you via 5G. We'll find that out in about 14 months. When we all die, apparently.
I can definitely say that having a friend, Ming, who we were talking about earlier, who actually has been microchipped.
Yeah, she's a chip, yeah.
There is no way to inject a microchip into a human body through a vaccine.
That we know of publicly. The cabal hasn't. The cabal
that
hasn't.
we know of publicly, because she showed me the microchip that she got put into her hand.
It's pretty
and
big.
It's not injected. There actually is, like, you got to make a small incision and put it in.
Yeah, it's like kind of looks like a pill, like a tiny pill, right?
No, it's like a grain of rice, about as big as a grain of rice.
So a pill the size of a grain of rice. Okay. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding.
But with that being said, you cannot... A grain of rice cannot be sent through the syringe that is used for a vaccine. It is just... That's not possible.
No, it's not. So stop, crazy people.
But this whole conspiracy, I mean, I've seen plenty about 5G and coronavirus, but I did not know about the one you just brought up about people
these are
thinking
pretty
that.
crazy. These are pretty crazy. These are like Q level crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure the QAnon anonymous guys have probably dove into some of these. I'd imagine.
With the one guy that made it up on 4chan, the one guy that started the movement on 4chan.
No, there's another podcast called QAnon Anonymous, and their whole podcast is just diving into the crazy crap of QAnon. I'm sure there's probably an episode where they've talked about the 5G conspiracy theories and QAnon.
Were you the one that said? No, I'm not gonna bring that up.
Yeah, not
so
relevant.
what conspiracy theory do you have for us?
I have a couple.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to preface all this by saying that in all of the research I did, and again, I don't claim to be a massive expert on 5G, but through all of the literature and the journals and the articles from very credible news sources that I have reviewed, I can honestly say on this podcast, 5G is 100% safe according to experts. And it's sad that we even have to mention this.
Yeah, the experts are on the cabal side.
And the most fear that comes from 5G is the different radio wave bands that it uses, right? I already explained what low band was. We've been using that for decades.
Yep.
I've explained what mid band was, and we've been using that for a while. Most of the fear comes from the high band and millimeter wave 5G because it's never been used for consumer purposes before. So I get a bit of hesitation, but at the same time, there's research out there that says millimeter wave 5G technically operates... Well, okay, let me take a step back. The fear is that millimeter wave 5G operates on a frequency equivalent to microwave radiation. So, of course, as we know, microwave radiation exists within our microwaves used to cook our food. So people hear that, and they're like, oh, you're trying to cook us alive.
I can see where that'd be a problem if we were all in a tight metal container.
Well,
we're not.
Let me lay down some facts here. So, sure, it does operate on the same spectrum as microwave radiation. However, it cannot become ionized and penetrate human skin. Physically impossible. And in fact, high-band 5G is easily blocked by leaves, walls, glass, cars, and clothing, which actually makes it incredibly difficult to implement because it can be blocked by so many things. Do you know what I mean by when I say that?
Well, even so, you'd have to have it run through our body to the point where it's provide enough molecular
Like
friction.
gamma radiation.
It doesn't fuck up, yeah.
Which it does
that,
not do.
Great.
And I mean, microwaves pass through our body too, but in incredibly high amounts. Like, if you stuck somebody's head into a microwave, I would advise against that. But 5G...
But you couldn't even do that
No.
because the door would be open. The microwaves wouldn't be able to bounce off enough to even explode your head or anything.
Also true.
You'd have to get a human-sized box, just like a microwave.
Except in the movie Last House on the Left, where at the end scene they stick the guy's head in the microwave and it explodes.
Oh, well, if they cut it off first, then stick it in there. Yeah, that'll work.
No, he was alive and they stuck his head in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You should just see that movie. It's pretty good.
Oh, Last House on the Left. I thought I did. Maybe not. Whatever.
Anyhow. But 5G that's what makes 5G very hard to implement successfully, at least the high band 5G that has that 20 gigabits per second data transfer speed, because it can be blocked by so many things. So, with that being said, what are some of the conspiracy theories? Like I just mentioned, the big one is 5G is microwave radiation that will fry us all. And survey says false. That one is false, believe it or not. Studies of millimeter wave 5G have shown that it doesn't penetrate human skin, and at its strongest levels of power, higher than any 5G network will ever use it. So, what am I trying to say here? Studies have shown that it doesn't penetrate human skin, and even at its strongest levels, which will be higher than any 5G network ever uses, it only makes things slightly warmer. Slightly.
Well, that doesn't help with global warming then, does it?
Brett, it's from a radiation standpoint. It's not freaking fossil fuels and carbon dioxide. Totally different. Be quiet.
I'm just saying, it's going to warm things up, man.
Anyhow, only at incredibly high levels can it raise the temperature of something slightly, but it'll never be used in that capacity over a 5G network.
No, it won't.
So, second conspiracy theory. 5G is sucking all of the oxygen out of the air. And survey says...
Hey.
Survey says...
False.
False.
I was going to bring up, you can see how I just said that, like it'll go towards global warming. How easy it is for people to just say something and it just takes off.
Right, but that ultimately falls on personal responsibility and people believing things without thinking.
Well, that's like half the human population, specifically in America. Or the United States of America, I should say.
Throw around your beliefs about the United States more, Brett. Just chuck them. Keep chucking them.
Well, there are stupid people across the globe. I'm just saying a large portion reside here in this country.
Anyhow, 5G is not sucking all of the oxygen out of the air. Fact. Third, 5G caused the coronavirus pandemic. Survey says...
Probably false.
False. 5G did not cause the coronavirus pandemic. There is no way that 5G could cause the coronavirus at all. And let's just say, people believed this one so much to the point that in the UK, they set cell phone towers on fire.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like
last year.
It's not just the United States that's dumb. There's people all across the globe.
But people believe this one so much that they destroyed property.
Yep.
And last one.
Wow,
5G
sounds like something that happened January 6th or 4th. I don't remember what day it was.
Are you talking about the Capitol thing?
Yeah. People believe something so much they destroyed property.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was a good one. A good one. Last one. 5G will cause cancer. Survey says...
False.
False. Well, actually, when it comes to this one, this one's actually kind of funny. This one's kind of funny because we still don't actually know entirely if current cell networks and cell radiation cause cancer. But no one seems too concerned, so I don't worry too much about this one.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you, actually.
No.
We still don't... Well, you remember all the studies that came out about people holding cell phones up to their head and the radiation causing brain cancer and brain tumors. Now, I think that was unfounded. But
is this kind of like saying there's no studies saying it does, and there's no studies saying it doesn't, so we don't know?
yes.
Oh, okay. So that's like saying there's no studies saying mashed potatoes cause cancer.
Don't you think, though, by this time, if cellular radiation and radio frequency caused cancer, we'd have known about it, and we'd see a lot more instances of cancer with a direct correlation to cell phones.
I mean, you do see way more cancer these days, but there's also way more people, too.
And there's also way better medical technology to help identify it.
Correct. That's good. That's very true, yes.
So that's what I'm saying is, although we still don't entirely know down to the pen point. Why did I just say that? That made no sense. We still don't entirely know. But again, nobody seems too concerned.
Hey, you know what?
So I
At
would
least
worry
my
about it.
internet's faster. I don't care.
There you go.
If
That's the spirit.
If having faster internet means that I die quicker, so be it. Right?
That's right, Brett. Gotta download those Destiny 2 DLC when it comes out, huh? Quick as possible.
Sure.
What? I'm just saying. You play PC games, so of course you want fast internet.
Correct. And if that means getting cancer and dying, then I guess whatever. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. That'd be horrible.
that's
That'd
horrible.
be horrible. I'd rather
Edit-
go and gather
edit
berries.
that out.
I'd rather go and no, it's fine. I'd rather go gather berries and stuff and just be a caveman if that meant. Or you know what? Just stick with 4G LTE. That hasn't given me cancer yet, for as far as I know. Maybe it has. I don't know.
Thanks for your thoughts as always, Brett. Always so insightful.
I like how we're making this section like how you're not supposed to believe conspiracy theories, and now I have a newfound fear of 5G. I'm probably getting cancer as we speak. My phone has 5G. So you're telling me when I hold my phone up to my face, I give myself brain cancer.
And that's this week's episode.
Maybe if my mom knew that, she'd call me less. My goal is to see how many times I can put Nick's palm to his forehead.
Sadly, if you told your mom that, she probably would believe you and call you less. Just like that one time she texted you about the McDonald's salads. I'll never forget that.
Oh, Ronald McDonald? I forgot.
Because she mentioned something about tossed salad, and you...
Oh, I'm like, does Ronald McDonald toss the salad himself? She's like, you bet he does. She didn't know what tossed salad meant. That was funny.
Truthfully, I didn't know what that meant until you told me either. So,
Oh, okay. Well,
and we're not going to bring it up on this show. So,
Yeah, I will
anyhow,
detail.
that's 5G. That is 5G fact versus fiction. Anything else you want to add, Brett?
No,
Before
I have
give our-
nothing to add. This
our
is just
ending credits.
This was just, you know how like a roller coaster, you know, you're on the incline. I was so excited for the conspiracy theory part to talk about it, and then we finally go down, but then the roller coaster just goes down to hell, and now we're here.
Oh, okay.
I liked it. This is fun to talk about. This is
I
great.
hate you so much. Anyhow, even so, Brett, thank you for taking the time to hop on the Artificial Podcast and chat
What are
with
you
me
talking about?
5G.
Don't even say that anymore. Like taking the time
Why?
to hop on the podcast. I am now obligated to do this damn podcast. Do you think you're?
Well, I'm just saying, thank you for taking the time because I know you edit it and do everything else with it.
Well, okay. I'll just take the compliment.
Thank you. Be quiet. Also,
Okay, sounds
thank
good.
you to, of course, all of our artificial podcasters who listen to the show each and every week. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you as well, since we are trying to grow our YouTube channel. And, of course, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, thank you for doing so.
Oh, I'm
Thank you for
setting up
doing so.
I'm setting up a Patreon too. Were you gonna talk about that?
Yes, I was going to get to that. Thanks for jumping the gun.
You're welcome.
And, of course, thank you to all of our listeners who subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Next week's episode, we are going to be welcoming Dr. Steve Schwartz, an AI researcher and veteran of artificial intelligence, to the Artificial Podcast. He and I are going to have an excellent chat about AI, the cold hard facts. He recently came out with a book that we'll be talking about a bit, and we'll actually be giving away a copy of Dr. Steve's book on the show. So stay tuned for that. And of course, reminders. Make sure to smash that subscribe button on YouTube and click the bell for notifications if you're watching us on YouTube right now.
Should be using that voice mod for that part. That'd be cool. Smash that like button. Smash. You know?
Smash that subscribe button on YouTube.
Was that what you wanted?
And hit that notification bell.
Also, make sure to follow The Artificial Podcast on Facebook and Twitter by searching for our handle at The Artificial P. You can visit us on the web at www.theartificialpodcast.com, where you can become a Patreon subscriber to the Artificial Podcast Plus. We are listener and watcher supported, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. And you can also join our new Discord community by heading over to our website. So, anything else, Brett?
I have nothing for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Artificial
Intelligence.
voice recognition machine learning.
Robotic. You've been listening to the Artificial Podcast with your host, Nick Myers. To stay up to date with all of our latest episodes, you can subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Or you can visit us on the web at www.theartificialpodcast.com. Until next time,